Hello, hello. I'm live again. I've actually had a little break. I don't remember when my last live was. I think last week. I've been so busy preparing my recent offer, so I'm gonna be talking about towards the end. And first, for the ones who don't know me, I'm Ashka Colton, the founder of Get Ready for Love and a dating detox specialist. And I work with single ladies who are absolutely tired with dating, frustrated with it and struggling to find the right kind of guy. And I help them go within and learn how to love and value themselves more, unleash the high quality woman within, so they stop making the same mistakes in love, start making more empowered romantic choices, and finally attract the guy they truly deserve. So, my job is to stop single women struggle in love. And today I'm going to be talking about self-love. And why is that? You might be asking me. Because in my personal story, in my personal life, self-love was the bigger game changer in my love life. I believe I found my dream man because I started to love myself. I set up my company because I started to love myself. I became a mom because I started to love myself. I met new people. I changed my friends because I started to love myself. And I believe your true, real, perfect, amazing life is on the other side of self-love. And I also believe that there's no true love without self-love. First, you have to love yourself if you want to attract an amazing guy who will be truly in love with you and will want to give you whatever you want to make you happy and keep you happy. But first, you need to love, value, and respect yourself before someone else can do that for you. So, today I wanted to talk about 5 signs that you are not loving yourself enough. But before I go there, I want to clarify that my definition of self-love is very practical. For me, self-love is a practice. It's not just standing in front of the mirror and repeating affirmations, even though I did that for a long time when I was a teenager. And it's not just going and getting your nails done or new hairstyle or getting yourself a new dress. It's more practical, and it's about practicing loving yourself daily, choosing yourself, putting yourself first, making yourself feel important, and choosing the situations, people, and things which actually serve you rather than harm you. That's my definition of self-love. So it's an ongoing practice, and in my own life there have been wobbles. They constantly are wobbles on my self-love path, and I keep coming back to myself, and I keep reminding myself daily in very subtle and very little ways that I need to, or I want to, keep loving myself, because my life is so much better when I do. It's not just about me. Self-love is about everybody who comes my way, who shares life with me, my family, my 2 men who are the most important people in my life, my clients. Because when I love myself, I can give more, I can care for the ones who are part of my life more. I can inspire more. So when I love myself, there is a ripple effect which goes further beyond just me and focusing on myself. So that's why I believe self-love is so important. We do it for others as well, even though it helps us tremendously to improve our lives, our love lives, our relationships, our friendships, everything else. So let me talk about 5 signs which are going to tell you that you are not loving yourself enough. The first one is, and I'm going to be looking on my notes so I say them in the right order, pleasing people and putting others first. When you love yourself, you know you come first in your life. And not because you are so selfish, because you know you can only serve others once you have served yourself. You can only pour out of your cup if it is full. So first you have to love yourself, and first you have to look after yourself first. When you put others first, and when you put your own needs second, there is some kind of imbalance, which is telling me that you are not loving yourself enough, and you might be looking for approval. That's why you put others first, or you might have some kind of limiting beliefs that you won't be loved unless you give, and look after others until you die, and then you earn your love. It doesn't work like that in the world of self-love. When you love yourself, it's not a problem to put yourself first, because you know it benefits everybody else in your life, and you feel better, you feel happier, you're a better person to be around, and there's so many benefits to kind of putting yourself first. Because hello Lavinia, hello Amanda, hello ladies, thanks for joining me. And I lost my thought. You know, I can't look at the comments. When I look at people joining me, when I look at the comments, my track of thought is completely gone. So, hello, and I'm gonna go back to the original thing, which was pleasing people, putting others first. When you love yourself, you put yourself first. And then when you put yourself first, when you look after yourself, when you take care of yourself, you can do that for others. You can love freely, you can give freely, you can take care of others because you feel good and your cup is full. So that's number one. Second, overgiving. Overgiving in relationships, mostly romantic relationships, but also, sorry, it's really hot in here. And also overgiving in in friendships. I mean, in any kind of relationships. It can be also in your professional life, because overgiving comes from feeling unworthy, having low self-esteem, which are all signs that you are not loving yourself enough, you're not accepting yourself the way you are. And overgiving, the symptoms of overgiving is usually resentment, losing yourself in relationships, being angry and frustrated, and feeling like you are being taken for granted. So these are the symptoms of overgiving. Have you ever been in a situation or a relationship where you felt like you've been giving too much, you've been doing so many nice things for your man, and he wasn't reciprocating, he wasn't giving back, and you were giving more because you thought the more you give, maybe one day he will notice that. It doesn't work like that, because when you overgive, people take you for granted because they feel something is off here. You're not respecting yourself. Overgiving is not respecting yourself enough, which in other words means not loving yourself enough. So, it happens kind of, I've done a lot of work on self-love, and overgiving was my first kind of weakness in relationships. I believed that the more I gave, the more I would get back, and it never worked like that. So I constantly felt taken for granted, and I still kept giving for many more years before I actually realized, I have to change something. I have to start respecting my energy, my time, myself, because I keep losing myself, and I was giving to the men who didn't deserve it because they were not the right man. So you have to kind of, very often I hear from my clients like, I love giving, I keep giving so much and I can't get anything back from this man. Because you have to take a step back and have to stop overgiving. Giving is lovely when it comes from a kind of genuine place, when you know your cup is full and then you can give. Not from when you feel really low and you don't feel loved by your man, or you don't feel like he's fully in a relationship and you think if you give more and if you keep giving, he might change his mind. This is a path of destruction. This is not a path to love. So stop overgiving and stop expecting others to change and take less or start to give more. You can't control them. You can only control yourself. So you have to stop overgiving in relationships to get more respect and more love from your man. Because overgiving is a sign of not loving yourself, a sign of weak boundaries. Another one is compromising too much in love. So it's about being in relationships which are not satisfying your needs. It's about being in relationships with men who don't really care about you that much, who don't really love you that much, who are not fully committed, because you are choosing to stay with them out of low self-esteem or out of fear of being lonely as a single, or out of desperation to be in a relationship. And these are not the right arguments to be in a relationship, and you'll be always losing yourself and feeling miserable in those relationships. And relationships are supposed to add to our life. They're supposed to add happiness, joy, playfulness, fun. They're not supposed to steal our energy, our time, our peace of mind, our emotions, whatever they're stealing. So when you are compromising too much in love and too much in relationships, you are losing yourself. You're feeling resentful, you're feeling down, you're feeling miserable because your needs are not being met. And when you love yourself, you know what your needs are, what you want from a relationship. You kind of demand it from a man. You kind of expect him to provide. If he can't step up to the plate, you just leave because you know you simply deserve better. So we also, there is this connection, we also can accept the amount of love we believe we deserve. So we can only give as much as we love ourselves, and we can only receive as much as we love ourselves. So if you are in relationships which are not serving you, are not good for you, this is a sign you are not loving yourself enough, and you have to step up. Do a little bit of work, improve your self-esteem, self-worth, self-love, and then go for better men who can actually give you what you want and will be absolutely thrilled to serve you and make you happy and share their lives with you, even though you've never experienced it. You know, I was once there. I kept attracting men who couldn't give me what I wanted. I couldn't find myself in a position when I claimed more in love, when I wanted to, I wanted, but I didn't believe I could find a man who could give me what I wanted. So I was once that woman that I didn't believe it was possible to be in a healthy and happy relationship. And I did work on self-love, and voila! Now I'm in a happy relationship. I've been with my man for 3 years. We already have a boy together. And this relationship is completely different to the relationships I used to attract in the past. I feel respected, I feel loved, I feel valued because I respect, value, and love myself. So this work needs to start within. You have to start with yourself if you want to get it from other people. And it goes not just for romantic relationships. It goes for relationships with your colleagues. It goes for relationships with your friends. Self-love is very universal. When you do that work, you can change so much in your life, not just romantic relationships. Even though I work with single ladies, we just don't work on relationships. Because when you work on self-love, other things transpire, and you have to address your career, you have to address your professional life, you have to address your friendships. Okay, another sign of not loving yourself enough is losing yourself in relationships. I mentioned that as a symptom before. But when you lose yourself in relationships, it means you have given too much, you've compromised too much, and that's a sign of not having strong boundaries. And when I say losing yourself in relationships, you usually feel like you've lost yourself because you've given so much and you put your man on the pedestal, and you have made him the center of your life. You put your needs to the side, you put your wants to the side, your dreams kind of disappeared or you've given up on them. You have abandoned your passions, your hobbies, because you focus yourself so much on the relationship, and it became your everything. You are your everything. You are the most important person in your life, not your relationship, not your man. It never can be. It never can be. And if it becomes the most important thing in your life, it means you have abandoned yourself. You have betrayed yourself. So in my opinion, losing yourself in relationship is the biggest self-betrayal, because, you know, you can lose a man, you can lose a relationship. It's painful, it's not nice, you know, it takes time to heal it, but it takes much more time to heal yourself when you lose yourself. I felt like that after my every relationship. I felt like part of me was gone, kind of taken by the man I shared my life with for a few months. And it took me a while. That's why I never could jump into another relationship, because I was never ready. It took me like 6 months, a year, 2 years to mend myself, to become stronger, to stand on my own feet again before I could start another dysfunctional relationship. And that was my pattern for many, many years. But then one day I woke up, I did the work, and life was never the same since. Okay, the last one is weak boundaries. Weak boundaries is a major sign that you are not loving yourself enough. And if I was to give you a piece of advice how to improve your love life, I would say just strengthen your boundaries. Strengthen your boundaries, because they're not just needed in dating to have men respect you and find better men. They also need it in your relationships, romantic relationships. So you stop losing yourself in them. So you stop compromising too much. And even more so when you have kids. Kids need boundaries like nothing else. Otherwise they will walk all over you and you won't know who you are after a few years. And so boundaries in dating would be, you know, set certain criteria, how you want to be approached by men online or in life, how you want to be invited for dates, when, how early, before the actual date, and how you want the man to show up. Do you want him to call you? And I advise you do before you meet. Do you want him to contact you afterwards? There are many things, and you know, you have to go, if you want to go into details, you will have to work on it. But you have to know what your boundaries are, what you can accept, what your limits are, because otherwise you'll be losing yourself in dating, in relationships, in friendships, in marriages, and it's not healthy. When you love yourself, you know your boundaries very, very well. And I've done lots of work on boundaries, and I can feel it in my body immediately. When someone is dishonoring my boundary, or I'm dishonoring my own boundary, or I let others to do it, I feel it in my body immediately. And then you set the boundaries, but one thing is to have boundaries, and another thing is to actually stick to them. Because I know many women, yeah, I know he should call me like 3 days before, but you know, he called me on the day, and, you know, I didn't have anything else to do, so I went out with him. And I'm like, you know, you have your boundary, but you're not sticking to it. And that means you don't have any boundaries. So, okay, to sum it up, putting the 5 signs that you are not loving yourself enough is putting others first, putting your needs second, compromising in love, losing yourself in relationships, overgiving, and having weak boundaries. These are big warning signs that you need to do more work on self-love. And here is something which could help you. As I mentioned at the beginning of this live stream, I'm now promoting my current offer, which is the Self-Love Intensive. It's a 90-minute one-to-one with me. The offer is only available until the end of tomorrow. If you sign up today, it comes with a special, amazing audio, 5 reasons why you need to love yourself more, which tells you more about self-love, how powerful it is, how to practice it, and why it benefits you and others. So the Self-Love Intensive is for women, single women, who keep compromising in love, who keep losing themselves in love, who feel unworthy, not good enough, not confident, not secure enough within. And you want to stop doubting yourself. You want to trust yourself more. You want to feel more worthy. You know that working on self-love, which will help you love and value and respect yourself more, so you will attract men who will love, respect you, and value you more. because it starts from within. And if you are interested in this kind of work, meaning that working on yourself and working on yourself, which will lead you to true love, as I mentioned at the beginning of this live stream, that was definitely my path. Reach out to me. I'll send you the link and I'll tell you more. And I'll probably post the link under this live as well, so other people can see it. It's also, self-love is also about creating the amazing relationship with yourself, because this will give you security. This will give you confidence in life. It doesn't come from a romantic relationship, or if you see a romantic relationship as a main source of your confidence, love, and security, every time the relationship ends, you'll fall into pieces. And self-love gives you that confidence, that security, and this worthiness which always stays with you. It doesn't go away because a man goes away. You start believing in yourself, you start going for the things you deserve because you feel more worthy, and your self-esteem improves, and you trust yourself, you become more confident, and self-love is just simply amazing and powerful. So, reach out to me if you want to know more. If you have any questions about my work or about me, please PM me and I'll be very happy to speak to you and answer your questions. And tomorrow I'm gonna pop in here with a little bit of my story and telling you more about what self-love really is, how to practice, and share a few little tips and exercises on how you can start implementing it and improving self-love in your life. So it's funny, I can see Marion, I can see Susan, I can see that there's just one person on, but I can see a few more names underneath. So it's interesting.